Happy fall, everyone. As all of you know, yesterday was the first day of fall, which represents an official change of the seasons. And personally, fall is one of my favorite. So have you noticed that it still doesn't feel much like fall outside? So if it doesn't feel much like fall outside, then why are we still going along with the idea that it actually is fall? Well, no new news here, but we have a system in place called a calendar that we rely on to let us know the beginning and the end of each season. So whether or not the weather is cooperating, and even though it does not feel like fall, officially the calendar has announced its arrival. Believe it or not, in the midst of what seems like never-ending chaos, our world also has a set order that it exists by. You see, this order was established in the beginning when God created the earth. God speaks in Genesis chapter 8, verse 22, and he says this, "As long as the earth endures, seed time, harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter," did you get that? Summer and winter, "and day and night will not cease." You see, the same principle of order holds true for our lives and also for our society. As people, we live under the rule of both civil authority and divine authority. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 13 says it this way, "For the Lord's sake, submit to all human authority, whether the king as the head of state or the officials he has appointed." So both civil and divine authority is applicable to all people, whether they choose to believe in God or not. And see, as Christians, we actively choose to live our life for Christ and by His teachings. Or in other words, we try and we at least attempt to live according to the created order as opposed to the chaos of this world. And I'll add that chaos stems from a rebellion from God's created order or from God's ordinances, and that will ultimately lead to despair and hopelessness. But thankfully, God's Word gives us instruction for how we are to conduct ourselves or order ourselves during our time here on earth. So, I have a question. If we don't trust our own senses to determine what season it is, but rather we trust in a calendar to tell us that, then why would we attempt to live our lives based on our feelings instead of obeying the established order from our Creator? My prayer is this, that even though life may not be feeling like you believe it ought to, much like the weather right now differs from most people's ideal for fall, just know that you can rest on God's promises, and He will bring about what He has promised us, even if this season of life has lasted a little bit longer than you would have liked. I hope you all have a blessed week, and I look forward to spending time together on Sunday.